This is Jane Marie.
And this is Soko.
You are now listening to the Queer Ambition Podcast.
The Queer Ambition Podcast is the only podcast celebrating rising LGBTQ professionals,
providing advice on navigating the modern workplace,
and discussing polarizing topics within the community.
Now listen up. Let us begin by introducing Phlegm. Phlegm, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all?
Good. Well, let's tell them a bit about you because you have some attributes. You have some good qualities. All right. So Phlegm was nominated to be in the Queer Ambition Spotlight by It's Gonna Be May on IG.
Oh my God.
Shout out to May. She sent over a post saying you gotta have him on y'all show.
Okay, shout out to her.
And a teacher. So we hit him up. Phlegm. He told us he was down for it. Phlegm is a native of New Orleans. He's an artist who likes to eat entire sleeves of Oreos, watching horror movies and episodes of Bad Girls Club, New Orleans specifically. He also has a website that he sells t-shirts and bags. And our personal favorite is Black Women Are the Origin Species.
Yes!
Thank you.
I know it's a surprise that would be our favorite, but it is. Welcome, Phlegm, the teacher, the artist, and the philanthropist.
Yes, welcome.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah. So the way we start off this podcast, we're going to play a little bit icebreaker game, and it's just 3 questions. I'll ask the question, and then we'll all go around and give our answers, basically.
Okay.
That
sounds good.
All right. So the first question this week is, what is the best thing that happened to you so far this week?
Oh my God. Oh. Hold on, I'm trying to. Oh, today's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm a teacher, and so with teaching, I get observed, and we get scores back. So pretty much is how I can keep my job to make sure that I'm not teaching my kids how to make atomic bombs or anything like that. But I got feedback and I was doing pretty good. So I snuck in teaching. I had them making a stop motion video in a biology class. So they just great. That may be, I think, my favorite thing this week.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Jay Marie, how about you? What's the best thing that happened to you this week?
The best thing that happened to me this week is very superficial. So I got this expensive ass laptop that I'm on right now. This one.
Okay.
You looking clear over there, boo. No more
Y'all see me? You see?
Yeah, I see you. Right now. The pores and everything.
No, but I'm hype about this because it's going to enable us to do even bigger and better work with Queer Ambition. So that is the best thing that happened to me this week.
Okay. The best thing that happened to me this week, one of our mutual friends, Carol, she reached out to me and asked me if I want to do a 21-day challenge of waking up at 4:30 every morning for 21 days and kind of using that time before really people wake up to meditate or work on a goal or something like that. So I'm really excited to kind of start that challenge and hold each other accountable.
Okay. So Carol, our friend, mutual friend.
Yes, Carol.
This girl don't ever wake up.
Yes.
She's going to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, that's early for me because I get up at 5:30 and then snooze till 6.
Yeah, you're up early though too because I see your Instagram chat when you're going to work in the morning.
Thank you.
It's usually around 6:30. I'm all in your business. I know your whole entire life.
It's fine. I put it out there for the world to see. But what do we call those? Is it Insta Story, Insta Snap? What?
Yeah, it's an Instagram story. Yeah, it's Instagram story. Yeah. Story.
Insta Snap. All right. So, all right. My next question is, Jay Marie, go to you first. Who was your role model when you were a child?
This is going to sound so nerdy. I did I took this whole class on jazz age literature and Black artists and W.E.B. Du Bois was this man who wrote about double consciousness between being, an African-American and a Black man and African-American or American and being a Black man and in this society and how you have this two-ness between you. Right. So I always relate that back to being a woman and also a queer woman and how you have that two-ness too. So he was my role model when I was a child. Because
oh my God.
All right. Same goes for you.
My role model would probably be Susie Carmichael from Rugrats.
Why?
Because she was never here for old girls like white bullshit. And so that's kind of, she was just like, you're not going to sit here and play the fuck out of these kids. And now I'm here, bitch. So that's sort of like kind of what I'm doing. Just like, you're not going to play me. Not at all. Not even close.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. My role model growing up, it's corny, was my kindergarten teacher, Miss Jackson.
What'd she do?
I don't know. She was just always just like selfless and genuine and caring. And for some reason, she always like sticks out in my head when I was growing up. So even to the point that I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So yeah, she was definitely my role model. Hi, Miss Jackson, if you're watching.
Hey, Miss Jackson.
Maybe you're out there. Okay, last question. And, I'm complete of random questions. So you're going to be like, what the fuck? But whatever. Would you rather be an apple or orange? And I need details of why.
I'd rather be an apple. Sorry.
Why? Why an apple?
Because an apple is a whole fruit. Like, I can eat the skin and the middle. I mean, granted, you can't eat the core, but I mean, I can eat the outside and the inside. But then with an orange, you have all the pulp that gets in the way, and then you have all the sticky shit, and then there's the smell of the orange that is just sometimes I'm not in the mood for a citrus. Sometimes sometimes you need something that's very balanced, and apples are very balanced. So that's me.
Okay. All right, for me, I want to say orange because it's juicy. And when I eat it, it's just like juice in my mouth. And it's good and it's tasty. I don't know. For you say no citrus. And I'm like, yes, give me the citrus. Apple it's I don't know, it's dry. Hard to eat.
Yeah, no, the juice is too much. I was one of those kids who was never a messy eater. And so oranges are just it's too much. It's all over the place.
J. Marie?
It's funny. You said the stickiness gets all over you. And I was like, what if I like that?
Right.
But I would say, damn, I'm going to say apple too. I feel like it's always the thing they say is good for you. Also, you can make apple pie.
Thank you.
So good. You know what I mean? Put some granola on that bad boy and some yogurt. It's great. I'm going to go apple.
All right. I'll be the orange then, whatever.
Getting all over everybody with your stickiness over there.
Yes, that juicy stickiness. All right. So let's go into some interview questions to, bring Phlegm on board and see what he's doing, what he's up to. So first of all, you're a teacher. Tell us a little bit how you got into teaching and what subjects do you teach?
My mom is a teacher and has been teaching for 32 years. Yeah, I'm 25, so before I was born. And I wanted to teach as a kid, but everyone was like, they don't make any money. So I originally went to school for pre-dentistry. And then around my sophomore year, I was like, drilling teeth could get very boring very fast. So fuck that. And so I switched to education with a focus in bio. And so I teach high school biology. That's my thing now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. And then
everyone loves their science teacher. So I think that was a dope move. Smart.
Thank you. I do what I can.
High school, though, how is it teaching those high school students?
Oh, my God.
On the one hand, it's frustrating because it's just y'all motherfuckers should know right from wrong. But then also it's just y'all hold 16, so y'all don't know right from wrong. I didn't know right from wrong at 16, but it's really fun. It's getting to the point now. I'm 25. Whoa. And my kids are 15. Mm-hmm. And so this is pretty much my first year of teaching where I've realized, oh, y'all are kids. This is my third year. Because before this, the kids and I were a little bit closer in age. And so a lot of the things that they watched, I watched on TV, and some things that they were into, I was into. So there was that common ground of being able to joke about a lot of the same stuff. But now the kids are sort of edging out of my realm of, I'm too old for them, frankly. And so
25, wow, too old for them.
Too old.
And so I'm realizing, oh, y'all are children and like y'all do kid shit. So non-kid jokes like don't work for y'all. Or the things that y'all reference, y'all's point of reference, I don't get anymore. Because I'm not part of that.
Okay.
But it's fun. I enjoy it. I love it actually at the same time.
So how do you support, let's say, the queer kids or the kids that you may assume are queer without making a big deal that you are also part of the LGBTQ community?
So for the most part, whenever I interact with queer kids, there's two kinds, I guess you can call them. Mm-hmm. There's kids who are very much present as queer. Mm-hmm. And then there are kids who you see the sort of like bubblings under. What I mostly do is try and create a safe space in my classroom. So none of the word, like I don't allow the word fag. I don't allow them to refer to women as females. And sort of really checking a lot of the way that they speak to each other. And then when they ask why, I always then go and explain, yeah, well, girl, you can't call her a dyke, even if she's a lesbian, because you're not a dyke. But if you identify as a dyke, then feel free, but you can't do that. And for the most part, I just also try and really include them in the class and just talk to them the way that I speak to everyone. So that it's just like your queerness is not a reason why I pay more attention to you, but also isn't a reason why I pay less attention to you. So it's just sort of, I see you as an individual, as a regular person, because it's we regular people. So like, and sort of navigate that way. When I started teaching let me back up. When I was student teaching, I had a student come out to me as trans. I completely didn't realize that I had done this, but I was talking to kids about something. And while they were like filing out of the classroom, I mentioned he, she, and then I was like, oh, and then also them, or like they, it just casually said it.
Right.
Assuming that they didn't hear me, but it stuck with this one student in particular. And one time he brought up to me that some of the kids, or there was a boy in particular who knew that that he was trans and was using like it pronouns. And so I was like, okay, well now I gotta hit this in the butt.
Yeah.
But other than that, I try and sort of just really let them know, I got your back.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Aside from being a teacher and, being this role model for these students, because I suppose that you're also an amazing, amazing artist. And that's why, you were kind of in our Queer Ambition spotlight this week.
Oh my God, thank you.
The art that you do with your face alone is amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. Tell us how that began for you.
So I had been doing like looks, not that intensely always during Halloween and Mardi Gras. I do live in New Orleans, and so Halloween is my favorite holiday. Mardi Gras is my favorite because it's Halloween times 5. And so you can dress up like all 5 of those days. So I was always trying to pull a costume. And one year came around where I was like, okay, I got to find a way to like zhuzh this up because this is not working. I also need to find some sort of like creative art outlet that I can actually stick to, as opposed to like dipping my fingers in and then moving on to something else. And I've been watching, it was RuPaul's Drag Race or like James St. James Transformations or one of those. And Nina Bonina Brown.
Yes.
On the show. Yes. And so I was like, oh my God, that's like face paint. And then I saw someone else doing some sort of like special effects, like body paint stuff. And I was like, well, I got a little background and like I can doodle the fuck out of a piece of paper. So let me go ahead and try my hand at this. And last year, the beginning of October, I started, and then it's been going on since then. And now it's just like, oh, this is like a thing.
So what inspires you when you're creating your art? Like what, because you'll have these looks and it's almost like you're creating a mood, like you're setting like the tone for everything. And so just tell us how you get into that space where you can create that.
I used to originally they started as I wanted to have something to do for Halloween, like some sort of look for Halloween, and I needed to get comfortable with using this stuff. So I was like, why not just post them on the internet? That way I don't have to worry about saving these pictures in my phone. And then it sort of, again, it like spiraled into what it is now. And inspiration-wise, I'm inspired by really any and everything. If I see in like interesting shape or like a cool color palette, I'm really into color palettes a lot. A good color profile, and I'm always like, okay, I need to figure out a way to use this. But I'm also really into like horror movies, and so a lot of that sort of flows into it. Someone who's in the like art world asked me to describe what I do, and I guess you can describe it as like African ceremonial face paint, but then like thrust into the future and then push through like a horror movie lens.
Yeah,
is how I describe it.
That is a perfect explanation. I like that. When I look at your art and I'm just like, yeah, everything I'm like, check, yup. Because some of the looks, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is like giving me like an eerie feeling almost, you know? Yeah.
I'm always, people ask me to describe what I do, and I'm always like, spooky is kind of like the best, but like not spooky in the scary way, but just spooky as in the like ethereal alien, like psycho weirdo freak kind of. I don't know. It's hard to describe because I never really settle on anything.
Right.
I'm always like, something's always changing.
Yeah.
It's a Gemini and I can't keep still.
When's your birthday?
May 23rd. So I'm like,
oh my God! That's my birthday! That's my birthday!
Yeah! Major met a few times.
You are going to be the best guest that we ever have. Just want to let you know that now.
May 23rd, come through.
Definitely.
But it's funny because like I can't paint to save my life. I can't draw not a goddamn thing. But
no. On a canvas, I cannot paint. I cannot draw. I can just draw lines and dots, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. It's a line and a dot and a shade.
Well, they look good. Those are some good dots.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some spectacular dots you have there.
Thank you.
So you said that you decided to share your work on the internet because, you needed a place to save it. But people are usually, when it comes to this art shit, people are scared to share their artwork without like the fear of being judged. You know what I mean? How did you overcome that?
When I started, I honestly thought that I knew that my friends would look at it, and my friends, for the most part, are just kind of like, oh, this is like, a lot of my friends are also in that really freaky side way, like in the fringes of the art world, sort of like queer, grungy, grimy art scene. And so you can literally cover yourself in dirt and people will be looking for it. So I knew that if I had done anything beyond covering myself in dirt, it would be okay. The response from everyone else is sort of still very much new to me. And it's now becoming to the point where I'm consciously trying to like release quality work as opposed to releasing like my less than stellar, what I think is less than stellar. But also at the same time, part of that is like, part of being a creative is putting up the work that is not your favorite, because like you have to show that.
I was gonna say, you're so confident. Like it just comes through. I don't know if you're putting it on. I don't know, but
it might be a little bit of both.
You kill it. Like I was looking at your pictures and just like everything is just so good. And maybe it's because I just appreciate you, for who you are without even knowing you before even talking.
Thank you.
But I just wonder how'd you get there? There's a lot of queer people and queer kids, even straight, cis, hetero, whatever, that are not confident. Like, how'd you get to this place where you're confident in yourself and you're self-aware?
It honestly started when I left high school and I went to a school like deep in the country for college. And I was like, I am cooler than all of y'all. And I knew that like objectively. And then it sort of started from there, but then I transferred to another school. I wasn't the coolest person. And so I was like, okay, I have to like, I can't be the bum in the group. So I had to like just step my shit up. And I think I've been living on my own for maybe like 3 years. And that has sort of really pushed it into high gear.
Yeah. Because
it was just, I live by myself and I teach, and most of my friends were either still in school or they had night jobs. And so I was forced to like hang out by myself. And I was like, bitch, you better enjoy this, or like, what's the point? And so I forced myself to enjoy it. And then now I'm just like, y'all, I guess, catching the fruits of my labor. It's still a struggle, but thank y'all for catching what I'm pulling out.
Oh, for real. So when it comes to being a creative, this artist, this amazing artist that you are, what is your ultimate goal? Like, what are you trying to achieve something? I guess I'm trying to say, like, if you can say, let me back up. In 5 years from now, where do you want to be with your art?
To be honest, I haven't thought that far yet. It never started. And to this day, it's still not really. A lot of friends of mine start doing art with an attempt at an end goal of like this becoming their full-time career. As of right now, I don't want to do this as full-time because when it becomes a job, all the fun is gone out of it. But I think in the next 5 years or so, I guess like gallery stuff, finding my work in print and like art magazines is more so the end goal. People have asked me, do you like painting other people? As of right now, it's kind of too nerve-wracking. So maybe in the future, because I'm still trying to figure out like what is my skill set before I try and like put this skill set onto someone else. But I guess having my work featured in magazines and in galleries is, I guess, the biggest thing. Not necessarily, making money, or like, the money is cute, but I don't really do it for the money, which I don't make. So I'm talking about for the money. There is no money.
This is funny.
He said, I don't do it for the money. I was like, said no one ever.
No, some people, you know what? Like, some people, there's this misconception that if you're doing something you love and doing something that you're passionate about, it's for the money. And sometimes it's not all about the money. I mean, when you die, you're not taking this money with you. So sometimes it's about doing something that makes you happy,
The volume on you guys is a little bit low.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Do you hear me a little better?
Yes.
All right. Did it all of a sudden get low?
Kind of.
Interesting. I don't know. It sounds like a personal problem.
Okay, well, that's fine. I get it.
No, seriously. But let me know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we're back.
Okay. So, sometimes it's just about, doing what makes you happy out of your 9 to 5 or whatever you're doing for your day job or night job or whatever hours you work. It's about doing something that makes you happy. And it seems like this is what makes you happy. And another thing that I've also been paying attention to is you're really active within your community. You know what I mean? I can't remember the exact name, but it was over the Thanksgiving weekend. I saw a whole bunch of sneakers that were like raised or donated.
Oh, yeah.
But it Kicks for the City or something. What was that?
A friend of mine reached out to me because she is an ambassador, New Orleans ambassador for Kicks for the City, which is like a national organization that collects shoes to distribute to people in need. And so she tapped me on the shoulder and was like, do you want to be part of this? And I was like, sure. I mean, I don't really know if my friends like kick dirt for a living. So in terms of having shoes to donate, I don't know if we got it, but I'm gonna do what I can. And then I did my little my little thing, and we managed to reach 2,247 pairs of shoes. And I was like, at least that's here in New Orleans. And I was like, my God.
How?
Wow. I saw that pile and I was just like,
yeah.
Holy.
Same. I was just like, wow. So I thought I was going to bring like little 3 pairs of shoes, some Vans or whatever. And then I polled kids at school and I was like, if y'all have tennis shoes, bring them in. Like, I'll give you community service hours. Can't really do extra credit. And the kids just like brought them in, and then other people were getting shoes from other places. People purchased shoes to bring to us. And I was like, oh, wow, we did a little something good. I'm feeling, got some karma points or whatever, might get a couple dollars in the mail or something. You never know.
So with being a teacher and then, being this creative, how do you find time for things that you love that you might not profit from?
So this also tying back to why the art that I create isn't necessarily for money. Because I'm a teacher, I make enough money to live. So the money that I do make, I'm not like destitute and broke. I can't spend wild, but I'm not like destitute and broke. But I think I just find the time to do what I do, even though it's not for money, because it's just, I got to do it to keep me from going crazy. And so it has to be done either way. And I got to figure out a way to do it, whether or not it makes me money or not. And so if it makes money for me, that's cute, but that's not the reason why I'm doing it. Because I also I make enough. If I had a different job, then we have a different conversation. But because I teach, I make enough to where I make enough, and I'm fortunate enough and privileged enough to be able to have this be a true hobby and not a job.
Would you say that your 9-to-5 fulfills you creatively, emotionally, spiritually?
Creatively, yes, but not in the sense of face painting, because as a teacher, it's more so socially creative. And I think that also could be part of this confidence that everyone sees, is because I have to I'm standing in front of a classroom of between 19 to 26 kids who are teenagers from New Orleans. And I hate saying inner city, but these are urban kids who grew up in the projects, who this kind of stuff. And so doing that for other people, that can be intimidating, but it's just sort of I gotta do it. And so if I go in there with fear, the kids are gonna smell it. And then also, bitch, you're 16. So what I got to be scared of? Yeah. What you really about to do to me? You think you're gonna clown me? I'm gonna clown you first. And that's just that's just kind of how it works.
So before you got into face painting, how did you express yourself outside of your 9-to-5?
I used to do a lot of digital work. When I went to college here in the city, I was on the executive board of student planning. And so my job there was to create advertisements for campus events. So when a campus was showing a movie, or having a welcome back luau, or having some sort of silly whatever thing, my job was to make a flyer for that event. So that was my gig. And then I would just do a little bit of my own personal graphic stuff here and there. I would Mod Podge, some collage stuff, just a little like tinkling here and there, take pictures, make a silly music video or a silly video for whatever it was.
Yeah. So something that I want to talk a little bit about is like, you know, work-life balance and how you balance that, and also do things, because not everyone's job is as fulfilling. You know, everyone wants to say they want to work a job that they're fulfilled every day. But, you know, let's be honest. I mean, that doesn't happen. So, you know, you got to learn how to achieve certain things you want to do outside of work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Outside of that 9 to 5, even if that means like, of course, you're leaving work, you're dead tired, but at least set aside an hour or two to do that hobby or work on that goal that you've had for the past year.
And on really bad days. And when I started doing face paints, that's what face paint became. It was like, today was a long day. The kids were fucking wilding out, like fucking bats out of hell. I gotta go ahead and calm down. And so I would just get in there, turn music on, and just like turn my brain off for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then you'd have a look. But now, and I'm sort of trying to figure out, okay, what else can I do? Because as much fun as that is, if I get home 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then 2 hours I'm doing a look, it's 7:30, 8:30 when I'm done. And so I'm just like, oh my God, that's my whole day. So it's just sort of trying to balance the two of them. I do a lot of watching mindless TV just to sort of like get a chance to turn my brain off because I'm so on during the day. Sometimes all I need to do is just like turn off and watch Bad Girls Club New Orleans. Yeah. Or Love and Hip Hop or whatever, anything along those lines.
For me, work-life balance is it's difficult. It's difficult for me because so everything that I enjoy doing and also what I do at work is kind of related. So for instance, when we're working on things for Queer Ambition, let's say, which is something that's like outside of my 9 to 5, a lot of that is heavy marketing. And then at work, I'm doing marketing. Yeah. So it's like, I'm kind of, but it's helpful because I'm drawing creativity from everything. And I'm able to then sometimes even apply what I'm learning from working on a brand, to what we're doing here. Right. But it's hard to turn off for me. I think that's a good quality or something that you've done well is the ability to turn off and then kind of then go into your creative period. Because it's like that 1 hour that I get to go home, I'm just eating food and then right back on it. So for me, I guess I'm a lucky person because like I enjoy what I do and it is my passion at the same time.
I think part of it is because the two things that I do are so polarizing. Again, that's that Gemini and duality, one end and the other end. I'm a teacher and I make face paint. And so those two worlds very rarely ever cross. Yeah. The kids found my Instagram, so they've been like trying to like, it's been a fucking mess.
Is that a bad
thing? It's been a fucking mess. Because like... Why? Because these kids are not like art freaks. And so they're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like what is going on?
Yeah. It's just art.
Right. And so it's like, bitch, what is this? And so my name used to be Petty Mayonnaise on the internet. And so the kids were like, what the fuck is Petty Mayonnaise? Like, what is this? Like, who are you? And like, because I'm very secretive about my life with the kids. And so when those two worlds cross, it's just like, oh, fuck. Like, this is fucking not what I wanted to happen. But the fact that they are separate allows me to have an easier time doing that sort of like separating the two. Going to school is sort of like putting on a mask, but instead of me painting it, it's just like I put on clothes and I become your high school biology teacher, which is very different from how I am like outside of work.
Why Phlegm? Like, why the name Phlegm?
I needed something that was memorable, but also was still a little like, not silly. I guess we can call it silly. My name used to be Homophiliac, which was nice, but I also wasn't a big fan of that because I made that when I was 21 and I was like, LOL, Instagram name. And I was like, but if I put that on a book or if I saw that printed, I wasn't feeling it anymore. And I needed something that was just sort of like a little bit less, I don't know, it's hard to describe. People always, when they see the name Homophiliac, they were always like, okay, so like, where's the gay stuff? And I'm like, yo, my queerness is important to my work, but my queerness has like nothing, but that's not really the focus of the work that I do. It just is a facet of my existence. It informs what I do, of course, because like I'm doing the whole face painting moment, but my work is not necessarily like gay work. It's just work that I don't know. It's hard to describe without sounding so like respectability politics type shit.
Right.
But I also needed to grow up a little bit. I'm not 21 no more. So I was like, okay. And then Phlegm was just like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of gross. It's kind of silly. It's kind of serious. And I was like, all right, it works. And I also visually like those letters. So I think that was part of that too.
I'm looking at the letters right now. I'm like, yeah. They're very appealing.
Right. I mean, it's hard to describe, but I just like the way that it looks. Like, it's aesthetically pleasing on my eye.
Oh, man.
A few minutes left. Can you tell the people where to find your t-shirts and your products, and also where to find your wonderful art?
You can find my t-shirts on teespring.com. I think it's like / this is terrible.
/stores.
Thank you. / Little Praline.
Yeah.
LITTLEPRALINE.
We'll put it the link in the below.
In the info, guys. In the info.
Thank you. And then my Instagram is, my name is Phlegm, PHLEGM. And that's where everything is. That's all the t-shirts and my artwork are like also very separate. Those things
they are. One more question before, like, what made you like start the t-shirts and stuff like?
So the Black women are the origin species shirt actually started from in a Zelia Banks quote on Twitter from like years back where she said it, and so I was like, oh, that's cute. So I put it on a shirt, and then people were like, I want one, and I was like, I don't know if I could sell this. And so they were like, yo, she doesn't have a copyright on it. And I was like, right, I guess. So that's sort of how those happen. The ones that say everything you love about New Orleans is because of Black people came from post Katrina with the like gentrification notice. Sort of really inspired it where I was like, you all come here to love the Black people, but then you sort of just like shit on us at the same time. It started out as a shirt that I made for myself, and then people wanted to buy them, and I was like, I refuse to let someone else fucking sell this shirt. And so that was kind of how that started too. Started by accident.
Well, all right, cool. Started by accident, but it's a dope concept. I like it. So, like Lem said, look him up on IG. Check out his website. If you can't catch all the letters we're saying, everything will be in that info for you. Don't forget to follow, like, share, subscribe. And thank you so much for joining us today in the Queer Ambition Spotlight. Thank you.
Thank y'all for reaching out.
Of course.
All right, bye.